Ladies and gentlemen, what a treat we have in store here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show. And our guest has really gone global now because we just heard him a few weeks ago. And we're talking about the lead singer of the band Orphan and also pro wrestling star for Odyssey Pro Wrestling. And that's Scotty Rawk, because his brand new single, which we had the honor to play on last week's show, and you just heard here to kick off today's show, and that's called Home Wrecker. I mean, Home Wrecker is everywhere you go. We just heard it on Rock Radio here in the UK not too long ago, a few days ago. We've heard it pretty much all over. We've gotten such a great buzz from it here with us here on Sportinarium that we're going to continue to play it. But he's also involved in the news, especially when it comes to pro wrestling, because last week it was announced that an Odyssey Pro Wrestling set sail August 7th in Morecambe. It has been announced after the long war of words between him and the natural born fighter RP Davis. So sit back, hold your seatbelts, because we are in for a ride when it comes to that match. So you know we're going to get Scotty's reactions to what RP Davis had to say with us on last week's show. So without further ado, here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, the lead singer of the band Orphan and Odyssey Pro Wrestling star Scotty Rawk. My friend, how are you? And congratulations on the success of Home Wrecker.
Hey man, how's it going? Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back on the Sports Report. We seem to have done quite well since the last time I was here. I mean, as I say, with the release of Home Wrecker and all over the past week or so, we've had messages and we've had such a massive social media response in response to the release of the single. We've had promotions across the UK and venues message us and offer us some shows. So yeah, it's been quite exciting times.
Oh, absolutely, and well-deserved. And what a song. And I was saying to you off the air, it pretty much got to the point. It pretty much was short, sweet, simple, to the point. That's what makes a great song. We're going to definitely talk about that in a few minutes. I'm very excited to talk about the new single, which we've been playing here. We're going to continue to play all weekend here on the Sports Report and on Sportinarium. But I am sure you've heard it by now. The pro wrestling world has heard it by now. And for sure, the Odyssey Pro Wrestling universe has been talking about it over the past several days since he gave his words, and that the war of words is over now between you and RP Davis, because Odyssey Pro Wrestling management has set the match for set sail August 7th. It's you and the natural born fighter RP Davis. We're going to settle the score here after a long overdue battle in this war of words between you and the natural born fighter RP Davis. So for our worldwide audience listening here on Sportinarium, Scotty Rawk, your thoughts on what the natural born fighter RP Davis has said, and now that you guys are finally squaring off here come August 7th for set sail for Odyssey Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, well, I actually think that Odyssey Pro Wrestling they've done really well, and they've made a very, very sensible choice in the fact that they've put on and they've announced that myself and RP Davis will be going one-on-one for the very first time. It's certainly a match that I wanted to happen. It's certainly a match that RPD wanted to happen, and it's quite clearly been a match that the people want to happen. It's certainly going to put bums in seats, because you can see that Odyssey Pro Wrestling have sold so many tickets just in the past few days, like since the announcement, a massive sort of influx of retweets and likes and shares all over social media. So yeah, like that was really, really interesting to see that people are so invested. And yeah, it's a match that RPD wanted, and it's a match that RPD is going to get.
We get this match all right, and his hands full with you, my friend, because of the shape that you're in, and we talked about it when you came on the show last time. But I also got to ask you, for our worldwide audience listening here on Sportinarium, and that he said that he does everything for the fans. What's your thoughts to that?
Well, I mean, as a pro wrestler, yes, there's an element of showmanship, and yes, there's an element of, pandering to the crowd. But in that same sense, like, you've got to take take it seriously. Like, there's an element of it where you are in there to win. Like, there's no point in putting the guy down and not going for the pin if you're too busy pandering to the crowd. And I feel like that is where a lot of people find their comeuppance. And as you say, I've got in ridiculous shape this past year. And I mean, RPD's done the same. He's, what did he say? He's bigger, better, faster, stronger than ever before. But yeah, not to quote a Kanye West song or anything, but, you know, find some new material in that sense. But yeah, like, I've got myself in ridiculous shape and I've been training so hard. I've been, like, ever since we were allowed to sort of go back to any kind of training facility, I've been there grinding it out for 5, 6, 7 hour wrestling sessions just to make sure that I'm ready for the return of wrestling. And I mean, it's a difficult one. It's a weird one because we've not wrestled, or nobody in the UK really has wrestled in well over 400 days, well over a year that we've been in and out of these lockdowns. My body and my mind has changed so much in just over a year that I'm intrigued as much as anyone else is to get back to it, because I no longer know what I'm capable of. And I think that is something that, well, it certainly scares me. So it should definitely scare RPD, because it's all right saying that he's focused and he's prepared, but how can you prepare for something when you don't know what that person is capable of? Because I no longer know what I am capable of. And I can guarantee you that I will do whatever is within my power to pick up that victory on Odyssey Pro Wrestling's first show back, set sail.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's an old expression, fear of the unknown, and the natural born fighter, RP Davis, we love you, but it might be a fear of the unknown here, because Scotty Rawk right now is on a roll right now, inside the ring and outside the ring.
That's the thing as well. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to say anything else to sort of manipulate the mind of RPD. Like, I'm not trying to get in his head or anything, but you've just summed it up right there yourself. You said it's the fear of the unknown, and that will make him doubt himself. And I can tell you right now, like, doubt is not a flower. Doubt is a weed. I don't have to water that. I don't have to look after that and maintain that and help it grow. Doubt will just grow on its own. And if RPD lets doubt take control of his headspace, and then not only is he going to be in the best physical shape of his life, but the worst mental place he's ever been in, plus the fans there screaming his name. I mean, I can guarantee no one will be screaming for RPD when, you know, he's having to pick up his jaw from the front row.
Listen, sometimes that's tougher to have that quote unquote crowd behind you, because that makes you feel like you have to work twice as hard. I mean, you've got a lot of advantages going for you right now. The shape that you're in, all the success that you have in outside the ring. So, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot wait until August 7th for set sail, Odyssey Pro Wrestling. And the match has been signed. We are going to finally see an end to the war of words, and that's the natural born fighter RP Davis versus Scotty Rawk. And this is a match, ladies and gentlemen, we have been waiting for here for many, many weeks to get announced. So we got a very good feeling that we're going to continue to talk about this, and we're going to continue to preview this, because I got a feeling like this is going to be possibly the main event for Odyssey Pro Wrestling come August 7th. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not that far from now. You think about it, right? When we first started talking about Odyssey Pro Wrestling over a month ago, August 7th seems so far from now. Now we're talking about basically 90 days at this point. I mean, this is really not a long time from now. So we cannot wait to continue to build up all the great things that Odyssey Pro Wrestling is doing. And I am the host of the Sports Report, the Reverend Tom Bryce. We are here with Scotty Rawk, talking all things related to the August 7th match here for set sail with him and the natural born fighter RP Davis, and the brand new single home record with his band Orphan, which is just dominating everywhere I go. And Scotty, we know you're a busy man these days, and you get an interview after interview and call and phone call from this journalist and phone call from this person and that person about the success of home record. And you talked about it here, and we talked about it at the top here. But were you surprised at just how much success that you guys had so far with home record?
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? It was so unexpected. When we released Filth last year, our debut single, we did not expect for that song to do so well. Like, it was literally like, well, the band is 5 lads in a small seaside town that record music in their back room. So for it to have done so well, like, it's honestly, I don't know, like, it's some kind of miracle, because we started this band purely for the joy of music and to write music we wanted to write. I mean, sort of the hardcore scene and the beatdown scene, the chunky riffs and the guttural screams. They're the sort of music that I listen to when I'm in the gym, like deadlifting 130 kilos, man. Like that's the sort of stuff that gets me pumped. So that's the sort of stuff we wanted to write. So when we released Homewrecker, as you say, nice, short, sweet, to the point, that's the sort of vibe we wanted to give off. And yeah, I think it's a little bit of a tease of things to come because, as I say, we're just 5 lads from a backwards seaside town that like that style of music and wanted to play it for the enjoyment. We cannot wait to be able to play live shows and sweaty sort of toilet venues across the UK because, you know, it's going to be something special. It really is. I mean, I've not been in a wrestling ring, as I say, for over 400 days until training came back. I've not been in a mosh pit for even longer.
I got a feeling that sooner rather than later, you were going to be in a mosh pit. And this is one of the songs that I could see being played here in the States on a station on Sirius XM called Liquid Metal. So we're going to have to do something to see if we can get this on Liquid Metal because it fits right in with the rotation of some of those bands that they play on there, like As I Lay Dying, like Hatebreed, who also have some brand new music out there, like a number of different bands that you're used to hearing. So this is a great song. Also reminds me a little bit of Super Joint Ritual, where it's just short to the point. I think your vocals are a little different than Phil Anselmo's, but it's still very similar into that vein. And I also want to talk about what Jack had to say, because Jack Norman said that you guys took only 4 hours to get this song down. You know, sometimes bands, when it comes to a song, it could take them weeks. It could take them months to write a song. I mean, Guns N' Roses took what, 26 years or was it 27 years to follow up Use Your Illusion? And from that time range that Axl Rose and the band was writing, but yet you guys only took 4 hours. I mean, talk about the process of that and some of what Jack had to say about the song.
So yeah, we turned up at Jack's house and he had his recording equipment out, and we really sort of sat down and spoke about where we wanted to take the direction of the band. And we wanted to keep that heavy, chunky metal style that we'd started with Filth and really sort of develop that and grow from that. So it was a little bit of a band meeting, and we spoke in regards to like the direction and the creative flow and the process of where we were going to move forward. And then the next thing I know, Jack just busted out this riff and it is dirty. Like I looked at him and I was like, ooh. So he recorded that and laid it down. And then I said, right, now give it a little pause and play it slower. So that's what he did. And yeah, it sounded just as chunky, just as heavy. And I really sort of enjoyed where it was going. And then Lucas turned around and he was like, now hit the chime cymbal and play it even slower. So we really got that horrible, like gritty breakdown at the end that you hear. And I mean, the lyrics are kind of funny. Like they're kind of a little bit tongue in cheek, kind of poking our sort of past experiences with like previous bands and previous friendships and things. Like they were lyrics that Jack wrote, to be fair, and we just wanted them to be short, sweet, brutal, and to the point. And I don't think you can get any more on the nose than what we wrote. But yeah, we had a lot of fun recording it. And I think that's the main thing that you wouldn't expect, like listening to the song and hearing how sort of heavy and how brutal it is and how angry we all are when recording it. Between takes, we were like in bits. We were laughing so hard, like proper belly laughs, because we were like, this is ridiculous. And the fact that it's done so well is phenomenal.
It's a great song and it's got a very memorable riff. And I think that that's what most stands out to me. Yes, the lyrics for sure, but that riff, it's just got that dun dun. Like it's just like you want to go out and all of a sudden just like either punch somebody in the face, or if you're a musician, you want to almost go out and copy that riff on. That's how good it was. I mean, it's really a song that I think we're going to only continue to play here and only continue to see grow in the success. And before I get your closing thoughts here, Scotty, what does it mean to have the success where now you're seeing the song being played on the radio? I mean, we saw it here Monday night in the UK, where you're being played alongside a long list of very successful heavy metal bands and hardcore bands. I mean, it's a long list. I mean, I lost count on how many bands you guys were right next to with that song. I mean, what does that mean to you and the guys?
As I say, it was something a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It was something that definitely wasn't PG, and something that we turned around to each other and we was like, this is never getting on the radio ever. It was like, we are never going to get on to mainstream BBC introducing, or we're never going to get any airtime with things like this. But we didn't mind, because we wanted to, that's not our priority. Our priority is, put on the best shows we can and just really have a lot of fun with it. So to have that response, and obviously have the sports report play it on your radio show over in New York, that was incredible. I got a message from Jack, our guitarist, and he was like, I've just listened to Home Wrecker played on American airwaves. Like, this is mad. So yeah, and then to have it played on Bolton Rocks as well. Like, as I say, it's just something that we never expected because of the nature of the song. But yeah, honestly, like, it's given us such good exposure, and well, when we can come back to shows, we just hope that exposure follows us, and we hope that we can pack out these venues that we want to play.
I would not be surprised if the momentum continues, because we know it is. And listen, just remember that Pantera had a #1 album with Far Beyond Driven, and Slipknot went #1 on multiple occasions. So just because a band is heavy doesn't mean that people won't listen to it. It doesn't mean that the masses won't see it. We even saw the success with the likes of Disturbed. We even saw the success with the likes of Korn. And there was a band called Slayer, you might have remembered, and they were probably the world's greatest cult band. And all of their records, if I'm not mistaken, their last 3 or 4 records made the top 10 and the top 5 in the charts, at least here in America. And Slayer was pretty big. So listen, I wouldn't count you guys out by a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, I remember reading something that Tom Araya, the vocalist from Slayer, wrote. He was like, I remember our first show and not even 12 people turned up, and then to go and see them sort of do as well as they did and be one of the biggest fans in the world in their genre. I mean, I saw them on their last ever UK show. I saw them play Download Festival in 2019, and they were just incredible, like, honestly blinding.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Slayer came out with an album called Divine Intervention. This is right at the height of the grunge era, and everybody was like, heavy metal, nobody's listening to it anymore. It only hit #8 in America, and Far Beyond Driven for Pantera that same year went #1. So listen, it doesn't matter. People will find music. Music will stand the test of time. And I have a great feeling that Home Wrecker is going to stand the test of time. You can also get the track on Spotify. You can find it here. We're going to play it each and every week. And I think we had something like 750 listeners, I think, for the song over the weekend, the 3 days we played it. So I can only see that growing because we're growing. So I can't wait. So anything we can do to help the band, you know that we're going to do it. And Scotty, we know you're a busy man these days. You're probably getting calls left and right, not only about Odyssey Pro Wrestling, but about the next Orphan single and what else is working on with the band. So I want to give you the floor. I want you to plug all of your social media. I also want you to plug all of Orphan's social media so we can keep up to date with what next you guys are doing. And maybe you guys will even film a music video for that. I mean, that's just a thought. Maybe you film a video for this song. It's that good, but I can't thank you enough. I want to give you the floor. Please plug all of your social media, anything else on the band, and fire away, my friend.
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm just at Scotty Rawk, and you can find me on Instagram at Rawk and Wrestling. Yeah, if you want to give us a follow and you can keep up to date with everything that I'm doing, everything that the boys are doing, and where you can catch me across the UK when wrestling returns, because my diary is getting very full. And yeah, you can follow the band on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are at Orphan Band. But more importantly, if you follow us on Spotify, you will be notified anytime new music comes out, and we will be found in your release radar. If you can add Home Wrecker to your playlists, that would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. And congratulations, my friend, on the success. And I will say one thing. If you do come out to Home Wrecker for Set Sail on August 7th, I don't know if RPD, I don't know if Morecambe will be able to get themselves ready for a match like this, because I'll say one thing. RP Davis, you may not know what's coming to you if Scotty Rawk is coming out to Home Wrecker. I mean, it's about a 1 minute and 10-second song. So he could come out to this song. And I have to say, RP Davis, you might have been in the ring with a who's who of fighters. You might have a background, but if Home Wrecker is blaring across those speakers in Morecambe for Set Sail, you might be in for something you may not know what's coming for you. So we will certainly see what happens, but congratulations, my friend, on all the success, and we're looking forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
As we're here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show with the lead singer of the band Orphan and Odyssey Pro Wrestling star Scotty As I am America's greatest export, the host of the Sports Report, the Reverend Tom Bryce, and stay tuned for more hard-hitting analysis here on the Sports Report and on the Sportarium, as we're just with the lead singer of the band Orphan, Scotty Rawk, who has a brand new single out called Home Record, which we're going to continue to play here all weekend here on the Sports Report and on the Sportarium, who is now announced to wrestle the natural born fighter R.P. Davis August 7th for Odyssey Pro Wrestling's Set Sail.